Well, it's nice to meet you. Serge recommended that I reach out to you and connect and maybe have a podcast, a little conversation. So I checked, I see you all over the internet, and you got some good stuff out there, a lot of good content.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been the digital business card fueling a lot of growth for my company, which has been it's exponential growth now.
Oh, that's great. So do you see a lot of recruiting coming in from the podcast, the stuff that you're putting out there, the social media?
As far as the social media, like the way I put out content is very like organic. So, I mean, every time if I'm on, like I did Snapper Academy Live, I did a training for them. Anytime I do any of those events, SolarCon, it gets some traction. But combining that with the organic stuff, which is like me sharing pictures of our leaderboard in our company page, pictures of our installs, pictures of like stuff on the inside that every other company kind of hides. Like I share them inside scoop, doing that on the stories. I mean, we're adding like 20 to 30 people a day to the company right now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Like veterans. So yeah, that's, it works really well.
How long you been in solar?
6.5 years.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you got in what, 2018, 2017?
2017. Yeah. 2017.
After the Solar City days.
Yeah, I got there, I guess, right after the Solar City. I didn't even really know about those days. I got there, I guess, right when all those days came to an end.
Oh, yeah. What do you think? You're in Florida, right? What do you think the biggest part of your success has been? I mean, growing the team.
I'd say the biggest part was, adversity is a gift of fast growth, right? So like adversity is something that I think oftentimes people can, you get to a decision where you can execute or fold. Like you could become better, trace back the steps that led to the adversity, whether it's personal, financial, or in business, and recognize it for what it is. And, one of my mentors always says, the darkest nights produce the brightest stars. So just the idea of when these moments come in and this extreme adversity. So my extreme adversity for me, I mean, I've had many of them, but October, November, I think I lost like well over $1 million because an installer went out of business. Half my company. Come January, we're like 30 people in the whole company. Like we I lost it felt like just about everything. But I recognized what the adversity was while it was happening, and decided to actually like trace back the steps and do something about it. So reinvented the entire business model for Spartan Solar. The whole model changed, the whole structure changed, absolutely everything changed about it, like a totally different company. So come January, hit the ground running with the team that did stick around through all that stuff, through all that adversity. And I kind of just doubled down on the business model, building out our software to allow scale at the same time. And then, now the industry is really caught in light of it. So, I mean, just this month alone in July, we've onboarded well over 200 veterans. So now we'll probably be at 1,000+ people from 30 by the end of the year at this rate. Now we're doing about, I don't know, we'll probably hit 400+ accounts sold this month.
That's insane. So is it the 80-20 rule that you're finding out? Is that what because I found out, ever since day one, no matter how many times we try to tweak it, if you have 100 reps, right, we find the top 20% are doing 80% of the business. Is that how it is with you too, or?
Yeah, I'd imagine. It's always probably something similar to that. I don't really think about that anymore. What I think about now mostly is like, how do I build really wide and tall? Like I felt like before I was and I think a lot of companies fall in this boat where they're like pretty narrow and tall. So like they don't have a lot of, it's a very, very fragile foundation of a building, right? You knock out one leg, the whole building collapses. And I think a lot of companies are just about that vulnerable. If you take out like their regional or one of their big players, you take out 50% of the company. And I know this because I'm taking away 50% of other people's companies every day. And I'm taking down companies, not like maliciously, but they just don't have a good enough business model to compete with me. And they should not be that vulnerable. It shouldn't be the point where if I take away one of their big leaders, that brings away one of their big teams. It shouldn't be the point where they're like, going to go out of business. But all these companies seem to be built that way, really narrow and tall, and they're just super fragile foundations. So my company is now built extremely wide, a lot of people at the floor level and not a lot of people in the stack getting paid. So it just creates this unbreakable system and everyone gets a chance at being at the top.
So it's more like plug and play, where you're not going to, if you take out a main player, I see what you're saying. That's good strategy. So are you just kind of going into different territories, just expanding the business, the growth?
Yeah, I mean, we were primarily, my main focus this year was just, it was a restart after what happened October, November. So come early this year is like, I just want to build out Florida. I want to be the most dominant company in Florida. I want to own the space. I want to own the most amount of market share here. And that really pretty quickly happened, and we're just gaining more and more market share by the day in Florida. And then it got to a point where people started hitting me up from other markets wanting to join Spartan Solar. And once I realized we could tap into other markets and we had basically the software on the front end and the back end for scale, we decided to open new markets. Like, this is our first month in Georgia this month. And I think the teams will probably hit like 150 accounts this month altogether in Georgia. So first month there, 50 accounts. And then now we're in 17 states. We're actually about to add Arizona. So you guys might be our installers. That's what that conversation was for. Because we have a lot of teams that want to join us over there.
Oh, wow. So you're coming into Arizona, this space right here, huh?
Everywhere. No one's safe.
What's that?
I said, we're coming everywhere. No one's safe unless you work with us.
There you go. I like that attitude. That's good. No, that's good. And that's what you were talking with Mike and Val about?
That's exactly what I was talking to them about.
How did you, which one do you know, Mike or Val?
I've been close with Mike forever. I mean, I invited him on, Jeff's houseboat a while ago. I don't know if you remember when he took that Lake Powell trip. And we've been close for a minute now. I mean, since he went to Sam, I think, was it Sam Taggart? No, what event was it? It was an event a long time ago. I met Mike. No, it was even before that. It was a solar cheat code event in Key West for 2008.
Gotcha. I remember that.
18 or 19, a while ago.
Yeah, I remember Mike went there. That's cool. No, I've been kind of in the trenches for a long time, so I'm just now getting to meet a lot of people like yourself. So, yeah, that's interesting. So, how long were you out in the field for before you, became a owner of a business? How long were you selling solar?
So I was in the field the whole time. 2.5 years ago, started Spartan Solar, and was still out in the field the whole time. And then, like, last year, though, I wasn't in the field as much. I was in the CEO role, trying to figure out what to do, basically to do as a CEO, right? Trying to make sure I was productive, but I don't think I was always doing a good job at that. And sometimes I think about, like, retracing the steps that led to that adversity. I think I got complacent. I think I got happy enough that everyone's still producing, everyone's making money, and I wasn't constantly looking for ways to become better. And that's what ultimately led. And I wasn't out in the field, so I wasn't experiencing the same pain as the people that are bringing these issues up, right? And if you ignore the whispers, you hear the screams. So I was ignoring the whispers until I heard the screams, right? Until it was like DEFCON 6 or 9, whatever that's called, come October, November. And it was like a few days after Thanksgiving when it seemed like, I lost the whole company overnight. And I wasn't in the field, so I didn't know all this stuff. So I look at that year as a huge, expensive learning lesson. And then this year, I've sold almost 600 kilowatts myself this year. I'll pass a megawatt this year while doing everything else, while fueling this rapid growth, while building out all the markets. And I'm realizing it gives me a huge tactical advantage because I see all the pain points and friction points a lot faster, and I can feel them myself. So I can build software and system solutions to scale through that, right? To not just put Band-Aids over, but to fix it all together. So now I'm going to always remain in the field, not constantly because I don't have time, but I'm going to always throw down, try to get a megawatt every year. And while doing everything else is really the goal right now.
Yeah, no, that's cool that you say that, because I think it is important to stay out in the field. Just being out there, you could tell when somebody's in the field. You can tell by just talking to them usually. The vibe, you could tell when you're talking to somebody, and I'm sure you can too, how long it's been since they've been in the field, because things change, right? You're always got to stay ahead of the curve. Things are changing quickly. And I'm hearing people that are still talking about net metering and all these other things, and you could tell when you haven't been in the field. You're preaching, but you haven't been in the field. And I always try to get my first megawatt by June, and I think at June I was at 900 kilowatts while doing everything else, right? So trying to stay active. Well, yeah, because it's kind of a pride thing, trying to stay at the top of the board. You know what I mean? Trying to, lead by example. And then, when you have other teams, people that you recruited, I like to compete with them. They tend to do better when there's competition. So, but that's great. I'm glad to hear that you're out in the field too. It sounds like you rebounded. That's insane. That's a great rebound. A lot of people would have folded up shop and disappeared. But
yeah, crazy. Now we're about to hit 300 people in the company from nothing. Come January. So it's probably one day away from hitting that.
300 reps?
300 reps.
Wow. And how many states is that?
Mostly in most of that is all within 3 states.
3 states? Oh, wow.
Yeah, primarily 2 though. So it's not like we have access now to a bunch of states, and we're going to start growing all these markets like Ohio, Kentucky, et cetera. We're going to keep growing these markets and building them out because we see a lot of potential in them. So that's always going to happen. But most of the reps and volume we have right now are just primarily, honestly, from 2 states.
Yeah. Are you what are you trending as far as megawatts go? Production
this month. I mean, I can't even keep track of it because they're throwing down so much. But like, let me pull up the leaderboard. Let's see here. So this month so far, we're at almost 3 megawatts this month as of now. So we might get to 4 megawatts. We got a good solid week ahead of us still.
Yeah. So what do you think the biggest part of your success is? Because I was looking at your the social media that you put out. It looks like you have good culture. It looks like you spend a lot of time with the guys and you do a lot of activities together. Would you contribute some of that to the success that you're having?
I would say the biggest thing, honestly, has been like deciding to create a business model all around serving the families first, above and all. We want to serve to deserve. So we wanted to create a business model where our reps can confidently oversize, undercharge, and still make good money. Right? So give customers more than they expect and win any job, basically is what that boils down to. So once our model shifted October, November to be able to offer that, right, by eliminating a lot of people in the stack and a lot of corporate bloat, once we shifted that direction, we realized that now first of all, people resonate with that, high levels of quality control. People really like to be a part of a company. I know your company is one of those companies, right, that delivers value and truly exceeds expectations. So I know you're all about that. So we're going to be able to focus on that. And then at the same time, when we created software on the back end and front end, so we have 2 layers of software. One's on the front and one's on the back end. And we developed the back end all on our own. So it's fully customizable. I know you guys have your own software too, but combining that and mirroring that together along with the business model that allows people to have a lot of autonomy over their own divisions and their groups and control a lot more than most companies will give them control over has been the perfect recipe for rapid growth. Because now all we do is share everyone's success. And now, before I used to before the adversity hit, right? Before I had the battle, I used to just grow by addition. I'd have 1 or 2 reps coming here or there, 3 or 4 reps here and there. It wasn't like anything crazy. And a lot of newer reps, not too many veterans that were really well established. But now what I'm experiencing because of the business model, because of the software, because of the energy we've created, the culture, et cetera, that goes with all that comes from all that, all coming from putting the homeowner first. Now we're growing X by multiplication. So now, I probably had 2 or 3 calls today, bringing in probably like 40 new people from just calls I had today, like teams and groups from other companies. So it's like, that's the speed of growth now, which is a lot more fun for me and a lot more exciting to me.
Are you finding people actually transplanting, like moving from one area to another, or is it more attacking people that are already working in that territory?
Mostly people already working in their territory. Some people are moving, but mostly that's why I wanted to be able to scale into every market, right? So we can tap all these states all through one simple platform so that we don't have to be like, you have to move here to start with us. I can just plug them in anywhere and everywhere and give them the best possible solution in their market. So if I can be undeniable everywhere, my team's unrecruitable. No one can message anyone on my team and recruit anybody from me. They just can't do it. And we have a lot of people they can try, and I'd encourage everyone to try reaching out. They usually just send me screenshots of people trying to recruit them. Like, that's at the level
that's great. That's a good feeling. Yeah, I like to me, and maybe it's a little cliche, but I mean, the number one, when I'm recruiting somebody, loyalty is everything. You know that. I mean, if you take somebody by the hand and you nurture them and you train these guys, you want a little bit of loyalty. And whoever says they don't care about that, they're lying. Because it's like a marriage at work, right? You put everything you have into the success of that other person. You teach them everything. You would just hope that they have a little bit of loyalty towards you. But I found that that's hard to come by. You experience?
Well, I would say, yeah, in the past, maybe. But I would say there's 2 things. There's loyalty, then there's blind loyalty. So I think loyalty is an amazing thing. I think we all value it as leaders, as company owners. And then there's blind loyalty, which, excuse my language, is fucking retarded. And that's when people are giving everything they have to the company or to that person, right? In the assumption and full belief that that person, that company is giving everything back to them. They're always trying to become better for them. So they believe that relationships on equal playing fields, But then in reality, it's blind loyalty because they're only ones providing and giving and pushing in more. While the other group, if you actually peeled back the onion, uncovered what's underneath the hood, and really looked at what they're doing, you find out they're actually kind of taking advantage of that person. So I bring over people all the time that are suffering from blind loyalty, and once I can explain to them what they're dealing with, and they understand this is blind loyalty, and then loyalty is very valuable. We value loyalty, but if I, as the business owner, if I don't get you excited to work with me, if I can't provide the platform, tools, and energy to get you excited, I mean, I don't even want a non-compete or non-solicit in my contract. I'm never going to sue you for leaving me. I don't care if you leave me, that's on me. I got to figure out why. Was the energy not good enough? Was my numbers not good enough? Was my systems not good enough? Was my software not good enough? Like, I have to solve the friction points that led to your departure, because clearly there's a reason why you thought getting those extra few cents somewhere else was better. Or maybe you're not even getting those few cents. You just want to join another company. So
I love that. No, that's good. That's you're teaching me something right now, man. I love that. That's a way to look at it. No NDAs here. I don't need you. If you're leaving me, why did that happen? Right?
I don't want to non-compete, non-solicit. I don't want any of that. And I deal with this every day with other companies, like trying to come sue people coming to my company, or trying to sue the company for them leaving. I'm like, I just can't imagine what goes through their mind where they think that ruling by fear. Because even if you get them to stay, if they're staying because they're worried about a lawsuit, and they're just sticking with you because they're worried about this thing that could happen, like a dictator, like that, there's no way you're ever going to grow. So, in fact, that just is going to lead to what we find in the industry, which is people building up resentment, and then people doing things under the radar and hiding what they're doing because they're worried about not getting paid. Like, there's just so much bad practices that have led to kind of like a sneaky, drama-filled industry in some regards, if you ever tune into it.
Yeah, no, I see it. I hear it every day. Do you guys, are you still, a lot of the MP1s went away. Do you guys still offer MP1s? Are you finding that that's still necessary, or do you guys just do MP3s on installation?
I always pay MP1s, 30% up to $1,000, and I pay it directly to the setter. If they self-gen, I give it right to themselves because they were the setter of their own job. Even if the installers don't pay us, even if the finance companies don't pay us that, or I still pay it out because I think it's a very important piece for growing different markets, so they have some capital and they're not asking for advances, because they're going to ask for the money one way or the other. I might as well have a system that pays them for that. And of course, as long as you have good quality control check and good accounting, you shouldn't be in the hole from doing it.
100%, because I think it's necessary too. And I think you're right. I think it should go to the setter, because that's the gold, right? Would you agree?
That's where we put, our setters get paid off the closer's red line. So we have everything built to favor the setter, because we are a human growth model. We do believe in people, elevating, becoming, they could become a closer, a leader, or a setter manager, but we don't want to create a pathway where people feel like becoming a closer is the next step. It could be becoming a closer is a downgrade for you. Becoming a setter manager, moving up in the setter role, is actually preferable. And we wanted software and systems to kind of promote that, because ultimately they are the lifeblood. And once you get really good at that skill, you're probably one of the more valuable humans in the business.
I agree with you. And it's funny though, because I didn't think that way early on in my career. I mean, as of I would say I've been in solar for 10 years. So it took me about 6 years to figure that out. Honestly, the gold and where the talent is creating the opportunity, right? Teaching somebody how to fish. Nobody wants to do that. You could be the best closer in the world, but if you don't have anything to close, you don't have the opportunity. It doesn't matter, right? Yeah. So yeah, it took me a while to figure that out, but yeah, they're a great setter, and a setter that wants to stay a setter. That's gold, right? That's everything. So we have some setters. I have some setters on my team that they don't want to close. They're making great money. They're making a lot of money just setting, and I love that.
If you had Michael O'Donnell or Troy coming to close deals for you, I wouldn't blame them. I wouldn't want to leave that role either. When you have good closers and you have a lot of trust in your closers that they're going to do if it doesn't close, they did the best you could ever possibly do. That level of trust is very important, because if you run into a situation where setters don't believe in their closers, it creates a lot of problems within that organization, within that group. But if they have a high belief level, like you, Troy, or Mike can go show up to a deal, and if it's going to close, it will close. If there's any possibility, that also is a key component to a healthy setter closer model as well.
What do you say your weakness is? You've had a lot of success. You're young. You're thriving right now. What would you say that your weakness is, if you had one? Everybody has weaknesses.
I mean, there's tons of weaknesses, right? Like, I mean, I think my biggest thing is that like I'm willing to just keep working through my weaknesses. So like I just don't quit when everything goes really bad. So I think that's a big advantage because a lot of my weaknesses have led to these big adverse moments, right? So if I were to try to classify some of my weaknesses that I see on a regular basis, I mean, right now I'm so freaking dialed. Like I wake up early morning, go to bed late night, like always focused all day long. I don't drink. I took away a lot of the things that were taking away my energy. So right now I'm like as dialed as it could be. So not trying to sound arrogant, but it's like hard for me to find. I would say probably a weakness would be I can't multitask at all. So like if I'm on my phone trying to message, if anyone's talking to me at all, like I cannot hear them for the life of me. My girl gets very mad at me. I think some of my weaknesses are showing themselves mostly in my relationship with my girlfriend, Michelle, because I get so focused on business that, it just can bleed into all hours. And it's like very hard when my brain's running a million miles an hour after I'm even done working to give her the time and attention she deserves. So like, that's probably one of the things I'm like working on the most right now that I look at as a weakness that with the growth we're experiencing as a company, it's been very hard to balance those two components.
Yeah, I found that you have to have good support at home, right? And I tell everybody that because you got to have that backbone, that person that's going to support you. Because early on, my wife didn't understand it. Me disappearing and running 12 hours a day, whatever it took. Hey, honey, listen. Every day I take off right now is costing $10,000, right? And that was years ago, right? So if you're scoring a hat trick every single day you go out, you want to make sure that you're getting it while you can. And a couple of those talks she understood because once we take, if you take off 2 or 3 weeks, how long does it take you to get back in the saddle, right?
Another week or two at least. Every time. But yeah, no, since she came into my life, like business, everything has skyrocketed since April. She came into my life, Michelle. And, it's one of those things I never want to take for granted because it provides, as you said, like that great support and like peace at the end of the day. By having my life has been, huge. Now I have no distractions. There's no, like, I'm not looking for girls. I'm not looking to go out. I'm not looking to do any of that stuff. So I can just focus all my attention on the business. And now I just got to work on like stripping away some of it to put back into her.
Yeah, no, I get it. I'm there. Do you have any kids?
No, not yet.
How old are you?
Probably another year or two. I'm 29.
29? Oh, you're young. Oh my God. Shit, you're younger than my kid. I have a kid, Troy Jr. He's in solar, but he's 32 right now. And then I have a second son, Jacob, and he's 30. So you're 29. Wow.
Is Jacob in solar as well?
No, I started a second company. Those guys got burned out. So my kids got burned out on solar. They didn't want to do it anymore. So we started a side business, something that's becoming kind of popular out there. It's called trim lights. It's for homes. It stays on the fascia and it's in a track. And so I funded that company for them, and they're thriving right now. They're having a good time. They're booked out 4 months in advance right now. So they're having a good time with that, and it's such a good feeling to be able to see your kids thrive. You know what I mean? A lot of the things that I told them to do, they're executing to perfection. They're taking it to the field, and a lot of the things that we do in solar and how we build the teams out, that's what they're doing right now for their business. So it gives me a sense of pride to watch them do that. And so now they're moving into different territories. And they're building crews out. They're booked out about 4 months. So
how great is that? You didn't just like give the kids something, like you give them opportunity. The business was the opportunity that you funded, and then it's on them to execute. So they actually get fulfillment rather than just giving them money or giving them an easy. The way you did that, I think that's really cool.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. Yeah, exactly what you just said. It just feels good because they did it on their own. I just kind of showed them a blueprint of, here, this is what I think would work. If you guys want to do this, we all love putting up Christmas lights. I mean, we put up Christmas lights, the biggest, the nicest, beautiful displays every year. My kids are out there helping me. And I'm like, hey, if you guys have a passion for this, and this is new technology, man. It's on your phone, 16 million different color combinations. It blends in with the house, so HOAs can't say anything, and it's beautiful, and it's security, and it's accent lighting. So they went out and they're doing it right. They're marketing it through social media, and it's taken off. So yeah, good feeling. So when you have kids, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just that feeling.
100%. Putting them in a place where they can actually find their own way, but not giving it to them.
Do you have a lot of friends that work with you?
Yeah, quite a few of my friends. It's been really fun now. That's probably my favorite thing in the world. Why I feel like I have endless energy. Like there's nothing that can slow me down right now. I don't get fatigued. I don't get tired. Like I just don't get any of those feelings I used to have. I don't get anxious. I don't get depressed. Like all that shit just disappeared. And I think a big reason now is because I'm able to actually bring in like the top talent in the industry to Spartan Solar, and I get to work with all these people every day. It's like a family reunion in my company chat. Like they're like, "Oh no way, you're here! Oh no way, you're here!" Because they all like knew each other in the past or from other companies, and I'm bringing all the top people into one umbrella, and we get to feed off each other's energy. So a lot of my friends throughout the industry, I'm finally have a solution where we can work together and everyone can win. Never had that before, so now it's great because a lot of my friends are in the industry. They were at other companies. They're people I met through the industry, right? Because most of my time and life goes to this. And now they're coming to all work together in one place and create their own here. So it's been amazing. It's been one of my favorite parts.
I think that's great. Well, hey, I appreciate you getting on and talking with me. It's glad to finally meet you. I can't say enough. I'm really excited to watch you in the future, see how you grow. And when you come out to Arizona, I look forward to working with you. You better stick with us, okay? Sun Solar Solutions. Make sure that we're installing your deals.
I already told them you guys were the first people I'm calling in Arizona. I want to do business together. I know the quality of work you guys do. And I have a huge first project for you guys as well, like a massive first project for you guys as well that's loading up. So, and you guys will be pretty excited about it too.
All right. No, it sounds great. I can't wait to hear about it. So thank you, Alex. Thank you for taking the time today.
Sure. I appreciate it, man. Nice chatting.
You too. Bye-bye.